men's individual C1, 2 and 3 1 kilometre time trial, the kilo, as you may have heard it referred to before, known as probably, you'd have to say, the toughest, if not, well, one of the toughest, if not the toughest event of the track competition. It's basically a surge to the line. You start at a standing start, accelerate as quickly as possible to maximum speed, and then hold it until the line. You can see here the world record is held by Darren Kinney from Great Britain. That's for the C3 category. 1 minute, 8 seconds and 668 hundredths of a second. So with this event, it's going to be fast and furious. We've got 28 riders riding individually this afternoon across the 3 categories, and there is a factor element here. C1 factor 89.06%. C2 category races 92.25% is a factor in their overall time that they finish with. C3 factor 100%. So here we have our first rider, Arnold Bolt, who's a decorated Paralympian already as a high jumper. He's won 5 Paralympic high jump gold medals throughout his career, but he made the switch to cycling, and here he is this afternoon, the Canadian. And if you're just joining us, look, this is one of 5 gold medals that are going to be decided this afternoon. We've got the women's individual C1, 2 and 3 pursuit this afternoon, the C4 pursuit, and then the men's individual B pursuit final as well. So the race off for the gold, silver and bronze will all be happening this afternoon. But on the screen in front of us, Arnold Bolt from Canada. He made his international debut for cycling for Canada just in 2009, and that's of course after having such a fantastic career as a track athlete. So he began the sport at 2006, wanting to get back into top level sport, and he was 48 years old when he first got into this track cycling. And while he's here, he'll be competing in the road race, the road time trial, as well as the C2 pursuit. But this is possibly the toughest track cycling event. So crucial to get a good start. As we were watching in the earlier sessions this morning, the start, it's more of an endurance event for the pursuit over the 3,000 metres for men and for women, and 4,000 metres for men. But this, there is no room for error. As you can hear already, we're 3 laps into this 4-lap race. Arnold Bolt is a C2 category cyclist. The world record for his category is 1:16.497. As he powers to the line, that lactic burn will be hurting, an average of 46.569 kilometres an hour. So there's 28 competitors, but with everyone coming in at under 1.5 minutes quite easily, most cyclists will comfortably do that. We're actually going to whip through this afternoon pretty quickly, and then we'll be on to the individual pursuit medals in 4 different categories, 3 for women and 1 men's category. So Arnold Bolt, a factored time of 1:17.304. First cab off the rank, so we'll see how he stacks up with the rest of the field as the afternoon progresses. He finished 7th at the 2010 UCI Paracycling World Championships in the time trial. And he still holds the world record for the men's high jump in the F42 category, the record being 1 metre and 96 centimetres. Okay, here we go. Joseph Berenier from the United States of America is rider number 2 today. He's wearing the number 76. Also has a packed program here in London. 2012 men's individual road race time trial, the C3 pursuit, this event, the 1 kilo, the kilo time trial, and he'll also take part in the team sprint. So that is a very, very busy program indeed. He's with the ABD cycling team in the US and coached by Craig Griffin, who is the national coach. And his goal here is to make the podium at the 2012 Paralympic Games in London. Joseph Berenyi, away he goes. He's a C3 category cyclist, so there will be a factor element in his time. Very quick acceleration to reach that top speed, and then the pain sets in, the lactic sets in. Test your will and your muscle and your power just to see how fast you can get around the track, these 4 laps. So 250-metre track on the velodrome, that is an Olympic standard. And he's off to a fantastic start, just over almost 4 seconds in front of Arnold Bolt, who was the preceding rider. A lap and a half to go. Powering around the bend. So Joseph Berenyi, with the support of the crowd, and so many athletes have spoken this morning after the morning session about just how much the crowd has lifted them as he powers home down the final straight. 1:11.649. So that's his factor time, 1 minute 11 seconds, 6:49. So the existing Paralympic record in the C3 category is 1:08.668. The world record is equal to that as well. They were set at the Beijing Paralympic Games on the 9th of September 2008. Hard to believe it was 4 years ago. Time has gone so quickly since Beijing and now to London, but not for many of these athletes. It's been 4 years of very, very hard work. So important to note that even the hometown athletes or the GB athletes, they're not the only ones getting enormous support here. A lot of the cyclists that competed this morning have said that the crowd really lifted them. Very thankful for such great support here at this velodrome. So the next athlete we have, it's officially called Heat 3, I guess, but really they're just cyclists riding individually, trying to beat each other. Victor Hugo Garrido Marquez is a C2 category rider from Venezuela. He's a pretty handy road racer. In 2010 and 2009, he won the Road World Championships in his category. But as we've seen throughout the day, a lot of track cyclists, particularly those who ride the Pursuit, which is more of an endurance track cycling event, are able to translate their skills to the road race as well. Very colourful frame he has on his bike here. Opted not for the solid disc rear wheel. Okay, it's important to get a good start and power away. We know that. Then we've got to reach the top speed and hold it for as long as possible. Garrido Marquez is a C2 rider. He's also run marathons, done duathlons and triathlons. And his club, his local club, is Bat Basque in Spain. He was the first Venezuelan to win a gold medal at the Road World Championships. And of course, he won that title back-to-back in 2009 and 2010. So as you can see, this is fast and furious. It's really not going to take us long to get through our riders this afternoon. Okay, so we're coming up to the 750 metre mark. The burn would have well and truly set in by now. Garrido Marquez gritting his teeth, breathing through the pain as he rounds the final turn, powering down past that home straight. Okay, so we're just getting read out the factored time at this point, which is 1:18.089. So he's the third rider of the afternoon, and he's in third place currently. So you will have seen his original time was 1:24.650, but with the factoring element that comes into it with his category, which is C2, his time comes down to 1:18.089. So if you're uninitiated with this, let's explain to you that this afternoon we've got the men's individual C1, 2 and 3 kilometre time trial. So the C1 category is the least able-bodied, I guess you would say, but the most severe disability, and then we move up to 2, 3, and 4 and 5 will not race. C4 and 5 will not race this afternoon in this time trial. So a big round of applause. The United States athletes have been extremely popular here. This is Anthony Zhang. He's away. Clean start there. Races for Team Fuji in the United States. John Lehman is his coach. He made his debut in 2007 for the US. And at the Paralympics in Beijing, he came third in the time trial. And he's had some success at the Road World Championships in that event as well. So remembering that the time that you're seeing on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen is not the factored time. We'll get that as soon as he's completed his 1 kilometre race. So we're at the halfway mark now. It says he's about 7.5 seconds off the pace. Zhang started riding in 1990 when he was just 15 years of age. So rounding the final turn and down the home straight. He's gone the double disc wheel combination. So 1:33.547, the unfactored time. 1:23.312. So that's with the factoring element coming in, and that's put him in 4th place out of the 4 riders that have competed so far. Next up we have Nathan Smith from New Zealand. It's an interesting even spread of athletes this afternoon. So we've got representatives from New Zealand, Canada, Czech Republic, Korea, Belgium, a couple of riders from Germany and Spain, Australia, Russia, China, Argentina. Ireland and South Africa. So a really interesting mix European countries in particular well represented this afternoon. China and Japan, as well as Korea, representing the Asian region. So this is Nathan Smith from New Zealand. He's quite a cycling New Plymouth in New Zealand, and his coach is Simon Finnell, who's the national coach. He made his debut in 2010 for New Zealand. And he's the older brother of New Zealand rugby union player Conrad Smith, for those rugby fans out there.
Go, Nate! Come on!
Plenty of support here for Nathan Smith, who also has a full complement ahead of him of cycling events, a very comprehensive schedule on the road and also on the track. He'll be in the next team sprint on the track as well. So 1 lap in, he's not far off the pace. That is an unfactored time. Nathan is racing in the C3 category, so no factor time will come into play here. So the time to beat is 1:03.082. He's well off that pace, but can he stay in touch with the leaderboard? Yes, he can. 1:16.159. That's enough to put him in second place. It's always such a challenge in a time trial if you're one of the earlier riders and you don't actually know what your other competitors are going to be capable of. So sometimes it's a blessing to go early and get your ride out of the way, but then it can be quite painful to sit around and wait and see what everyone else does. However, if you have to wait until later in the day, say if you're rider number 27 or 28, you've really got to keep those nerves in check and keep the focus on while everyone else gets out there and does their thing. See the effort going in there on Nathan's face. So now we can introduce to you the next rider of the competition. This is Heat 6 rather, Jay Milley from Canada, who came third in 2011 in Italy in this event, C1 1 kilo time trial. He's also managed to recover from a serious accident at the 2011 Canadian Road Championships. Here he is, Jay Milley. We have heard that throughout the day, that a number of track cyclists have been involved in serious accidents and have then had to recover, but they've still made it here to compete. He's ready to go. And he's off. The crowd is right behind Jay Milley. Being very well behaved, being quiet when they're being asked to be quiet, so that the cyclists can easily hear the starting gun and the countdown. So Jay Milley is a C1 rider, so there will be a factor that comes into his time, but already he's off to a brilliant start. The C1 world record is held by Rodrigo Fernando Lopez from Argentina, and he is the final athlete to be racing in this event this afternoon. Here he goes. Past the 750 metre mark, or coming up to the 750 metre mark rather, I should say. 1 lap to go. So about 4 seconds off the top rider, but don't forget we need to know what the factored time is. The focus is immense. The pain at this point will be immense. An absolute burn in the muscles as he powers down that home straight. So the raw time, unfactored time, enough to put him in 4th position out of the 6 riders, but let's wait and see. So the factored time, 1:17.631, so out of the middle count. So the fastest we've had so far is Joseph Berenyi from the United States. So he did it in 1:11.649. And he's a C3 category rider. The world record in that category is 1:08.668. And as I mentioned before, that was set in Beijing at the Paralympics 4 years ago. So now we have a Czech Republic rider, Michal Stark. Very big hello to our Czech viewers, wherever you might be watching. Michal Stark is one of our more senior athletes competing, but he's also a handy road racer as well. He likes the time trialling on the road. Won the Road World Championship. No, he didn't. He came 3rd in the individual time trial at the Road World Championships in 2010. As for his track results, in Sydney, he competed in the Sydney Games. He won a bronze medal at the Paralympics in the 3-kilometre pursuit. He's also had some success at the Track World Championships as well. Michal Stark, he's away. Affectionately known as Gramps because he's the oldest member of the national team by far. He's based in Prague and rides with Dukla Praha. Also doubled up as a Winter Paralympian, skiing in the 1994 Games at Lillehammer. But here we go, he's on the bike now. Michal Stark is a C2 category rider, so there will be a discrepancy in the time that you see on the screen and the final time that he's awarded at the end of this 1,000 metres. Halfway mark, just under 4 seconds off the pace of the leader. Of course, Joseph Berenyi, the leader at the moment. You can see the efficiency in the technique. And really, I mean, there's not much to say about the tactics of a race like this. You've basically got to get to your top speed and hold it, and it hurts. Absolutely hurts. He'll be in a lot of pain right now, but he won't be thinking about that. He'll be thinking about getting to that line as quickly as possible. And he's done extremely well. So that's the unfactored time, which has put him in 2nd position, but we'll just wait and see. 1:15.755. So that is enough for 2nd position at this early stage. So we're 7 riders in, a total of 28 cyclists this afternoon. The first of 5 gold medals to be awarded on day 1 of the Paralympics cycling event at London 2012, this brilliant venue. So rider number 8, Yeon-sik Jin, C3 category rider from Korea. He won this event in Sydney 2012 and won a bronze in Beijing, and also a bronze back in Sydney in the year 2000 in the road race as well. The Paralympic Games in Beijing, he was a silver medalist in the 3-kilometre pursuit. So that time trial result from Sydney, that was in the road time trial, not this event. And is away. You can see his coach urging him on. And Jin's older brother is also a cyclist. So you can see he's right on target here. He's managed to do a very, very good first lap. That acceleration was extraordinary. Yeon-sik Jin. It's a 34-year-old from Korea. He's absolutely powering, still staying within 1 second. Now he's a C3 category rider, so there's not going to be a factor of time come into play here. So we really want to see him power home over this final lap. Looks as though he's still just outside what he needs to slip into first position, but he's going to be right up there. Yep, so he's slipped into second position, 1:14.061. So Joseph Grenier from the United States is still in first position. Yeon-sik Jin, second. Mikhail Stark from the Czech Republic is sitting in third at the moment. And it's pretty tight up there, up near the top of the leaderboard. Nathan Smith from New Zealand rode at 1:16, so he's now been pushed into fourth position. He'll be disappointed about that. Arnold Bolt from Canada, he was the first rider of the day. He rode 1:17.304, so he's in fifth position now. But that was a really good ride by Yeon-sik Jin. So here we have an updated official standing rather than my calculations on the paper. So Joseph Grenier, first overall at this point in time. So we're not even quite a third of the way through the riders at the moment. Stefan Warriors from Germany is our next athlete. He won the World Road Championships in the C3 category in 2010, and he's a chemist by trade. So Stefan Warriors, he's a C3 category athlete, so he won't have a factored time in his race. The time to beat at the moment is Joseph Grenier's 1:11.649. Let's see how he goes. Okay, how's he going? Just under a second off the pace at this stage. We're yet to see if he's actually reached his top speed. We'll get a better idea, and we've got 1 lap to go. So not quite. Okay, so slipped a little further off the pace. 2 seconds, 2.4 seconds off the pace now, but that's all right. Let's see how he goes. Rounding the final turn. sport is just incredible here today. So 1:15.828. So that's good enough for 4th place. No factored change in there because he's a C3 category rider. So the factored time really is just to even out the competition as much as possible. But look, it's never a perfect science. You're never going to get it 100% right. It's just what can be done to try and make the competition as fair as possible. That's because every athlete is individual, and although they're grouped into categories, people can have quite different levels of impairment to their ability. So groupings have changed over the years, and having a factored time like this is just another way of trying to even out the competition. So Chris Bosmans from Belgium is another C3 rider. He is rider 10, race number 9. It's a pretty nice looking bike. Of course, all these bikes are full carbon frames. You can see the aero bars on there. He's chosen a carbon disc wheel, but not all of the athletes have decided to go with the carbon disc wheels. Some have just in their rear, some have both front and rear as carbon discs, and as we saw earlier, some don't use disc wheels at all. It just depends on personal preference. Certainly there are restrictions in road racing though with your disc wheels. And he's away, the crowd behind him. So the Belgian cyclist Chris Bosmans. Of course, Belgium known for producing some excellent cyclists, particularly in the professional road racing circuit as well. But Bosmans is a good road racer as well. He won the 2011 Road Race Championship for the C3. His club is Cofidis, a very well-known cycling brand / club. And he's coached by Joe Kuhlman. He's been riding since the age of 16. He's now 32 years of age. So just a fraction off the pace here, but let's see what he can do. It's nothing, only a couple of hundredths of a second. 1 lap to go. Let's see if he can go better than Joseph Brenier, who's been the pace setter this afternoon. So Chris Bosmans, you can see the pain and the effort on his face as he opens his mouth and tries to breathe in as much oxygen as possible to get some extra power down that final straight. 1:12.825, so that's enough to put him in 2nd position, but not enough to put him as the leader of the competition. So Belgium's Chris Bosmans right up there, but just not quite enough. So just over a second behind Joseph Brenier from the United States. So a lot of riders to get through this afternoon. That rounded out the first 10 riders. Next up we'll have a German rider, but there's really a full spread of athletes from right around the world. We've got Russia, Canada, South Africa. Darren Kenny is rider number 21. He is the world record holder in the C3 category. That he won that event, the Beijing Paralympics. So Jin Yong-sik from Korea still managing to hang in there in the top 3, but you'd have to say that it's unlikely he'll be able to sustain that position when we look at the quality of field that we still have to go, including 2 world record holders in different categories. Of course, they've now, since the last games, been grouped into the same categories, so it will be very interesting to see who will come out the victor today. And of course, you only get one ride. We saw the sessions this morning with the individual pursuit where you you get a ranking and then you race off for the medals this afternoon. Well, that's not so the case here. You only get one shot at the time trial. And really, it's the fastest and most powerful that will win. There aren't a lot of tactics in this race. You've just got to get out quick and sustain that speed. So Michael Tuber from Germany. He won the 3 kilometre individual pursuit in Athens and was second in Beijing. He's a very good road cyclist as well. Had a lot of success at previous Paralympic Games, including winning the time trial, the road time trial in Beijing. And also in Athens, so he'll be looking to defend those titles later in the competition, but we're not up to the road racing yet. We've got 4 days of track cycling first to get through. Many of these athletes are competing across both disciplines and have very, very busy schedules indeed. So rounding out onto the home straight. So we're going to have to wait for the factored time. 1:14 rather. 0.425. So out of the medal count for now. Well, for good really. That's it for Michael Tuber, but a courageous race there. So 6,000 spectators here this afternoon cheering on these cyclists, and they're being very generous with their support, not just supporting their own athletes from GB, but supporting athletes from right around the world. But next up we have an athlete from Ireland, and the Irish athletes have been very, very popular so far at this velodrome. This is Enda Smythe. He's coached by Brian Nugent. It's also been another one of these athletes who's lucky to be here, really. He had a bad accident in July this year, and he was out on a ride when his front wheel got caught in a roadside grate, and he fell and broke his elbow and had to have surgery, so very nasty accident. And obviously that injury threatened to rule him out of the 2012 Paralympic Games. However, here he is, so what an achievement to be here. That would have been a very nasty fall indeed. Away cleanly. So Enda Smythe representing Ireland. He's 43 years old. So one of the more senior athletes. Based in Dublin. Trains with the fixed rollers. Okay, at the halfway mark, he's less than a second off the pace. C3, so there's no factored element here. What you see is what you get on the screen. You're looking to power home, so 1:11 is the time he needs to beat, 1:11.649. The second rider of the day, Joseph Berenyi, set that time, and no one's been able to beat it thus far. Clinching and grimacing in the pain. This is such a painful event to be able to hold that speed. The lactic acid would be absolutely burning right now. That's a good ride, that's a good ride. 1:13.890. So that's enough to put him into third position. Enda Smythe from Ireland, a very popular competitor here this afternoon. But we all know who the biggest cheer is going to be reserved for this afternoon, and that is for the home athletes. Darren Kenny and Richard Wadden are still yet to come. But up next, we've got another Spanish rider. So the Spanish cycling team has been featuring prominently. They've come here with a decent contingent. Juan Jose Mendez is a C1 rider, and he'll be next up on the track. Came second in the road time trial in Beijing in 2008. And as for his cycling or track cycling career, he's a multiple medalist at Paralympic level. In Athens, he was second in the 3 kilometre pursuit. In Beijing, he was third in that event as well. He's also had a lot of success at the World Championships as well in recent years. Juan Jose Mendez. He's 48 years of age. Crucial to get a good start and get up to speed as quickly as possible. There's not much margin for error, although there's not really many tactics in this. There's no margin for error either, and you need to be very efficient with your pedalling. Find your line and hold it. So this man on the screen in front of us says after winning silver and bronze in Athens, he wants to win gold in London. That's his final goal left that he wants to achieve in the sport. And he's racing in 4 events at London 2012. So I have to say he's got a reasonable chance of satisfying that dream. But here, now the time you see on the screen won't be his end result. He's a C1 athlete, so we've got that factor of 89.06%. Okay, here we go. So crossing the line, 1:26, that's the unfactored time. 1:16. Oh, you can feel the pain. It makes me feel a bit ill looking at that. It's so painful. So 1:16.743. So as we've moved throughout the field, you've seen that early on that time was quite reasonable. The first sort of 5 or 6 riders, that would have been right up there, but we've seen the quality of the field improve, and as a result 1:16 is now no longer good enough to be anywhere near the medal standings whatsoever, but still an excellent ride. And now Juan Jose Mendez will be looking to his road race. He's got the road time trial road race, and he's also got the men's individual C1 pursuit as well, which is across 4 kilometres rather than the 1 kilometre. And we know that's a lot of the cyclists that adapt between track and road are often very good at the individual pursuit, because it's that longer sort of test of endurance, and there's less of a need to get away to a really explosive start, because you've got that little bit more time to get up to speed, and it is more of a test of endurance. But now we have a Japanese athlete, our first Japanese athlete of this afternoon, at the track cycling, Masaki Fujita. He's a C3 athlete, so no factoring time coming into play here. Got a very well-behaved crowd here. So Vegeta's goal at these games is he wants to come home with a medal. He's also racing in 4 events, and I can tell you that at the Paralympics in China he won a silver and a bronze in the road events, and in the track events he won a silver medal in the 3 kilometre pursuit. He's also done well at the Track World Championships in the 1,000 kilometre time trial, so this event, and the 3 kilometre pursuit. So he won that in 2009, this very event, in the LC3 event, and he's looking extremely strong. It looks like he's pedaling at a higher cadence than some of the other cyclists that we've seen this afternoon. tucked down in that aerodynamic position. And the crowd's certainly getting behind you, but the burn has well and truly set in. Such a difficult race. So about a second and a half off the pace, and that time is what he will get. There'll be no factoring that comes into it, so we need to see a really strong spurt if he's got anything left to get across that line this afternoon. But around about 2 seconds off the pace thus far. Let's see what he's been able to manage in the last 125 metres. So 6th position, 1:14.998. Masaki Fujita. So now he will look to his individual pursuit as his other track event, and then focus solely, of course, on the road events. So Masaki Fujita leaves the track, making way for our next athlete from Colombia. From Bogota, Alvaro Galvez Becerra. So Galvez Becerra is a C2 athlete. I'll tell you a little bit about him. He has 2 daughters, no doubt watching on with great interest. Came first in the C2 road race in Roskilde in Denmark in 2011. Some pretty flash carbon wheels there from the Colombian. Stars in the middle. And off to a great start, and the crowd's being very well behaved here. It's also almost becoming comical with the hush, being told to hush so that the rider can clearly hear the start gun and of course the countdown. So Galvez Becerra, the Colombian athlete, a C2 category rider. In 2008, he became the first Colombian cyclist to win a medal at the Paralympic Games, and of course that was in Beijing in 2008, just 4 short years ago. But it is a long journey for these athletes to keep up their training and keep up that hunger and desire to compete again. So Galvez Becerra onto his final lap of the 1 kilo, the kilo event, I should say. This is the men's individual C1, 2 and 3 1 kilometre time trial if you've just joined us on Paralympic Sport TV. And we are whipping through the field. Galvez Becerra is rider number 15 and is across the line. We will have a factored time, so we'll just wait a minute. 1:14.275. So that's enough to put him into 5th position. So out of the medal count, of course, you don't get any second chances in this. There's no write-off for the medals, unlike in the individual pursuit. This is it. You only get 1 chance. So if you've just joined us, yeah, a total of 28 riders this afternoon. This is for the men's individual C1, 2 and 3. 1 kilometre time trial. Now this is the first gold medal of the track cycling to be awarded, and after this there's another 4 gold medals this afternoon. We'll have write-offs for the gold and also the bronze medal in the women's individual pursuit and also the men's individual pursuit B category, the vision impaired riders. So Joseph Berenyi will have been sitting there. Looks like he's keeping some good humour there, but it wouldn't be a nice feeling sitting there just waiting to see how everyone else is going to go. He's been leading since he rode in the second, he was the second rider of the afternoon. Now we're up to rider number 16, Ivo Koblasa from the Czech Republic, a C2 category. So Ivo Koblasa, his nickname is Pirate. And he's a youngster too. He's just 19 years of age. So we've had a full complement of ages this afternoon. We've had riders almost at the age of 50. And here, Ivo Kablasa is one of the youngest in the competition. Ivo Kablasa is going to be competing in 5 events at these games. He's a business student. Began the sport as a 14-year-old. Finished 4th at the 2011 World Championships in Denmark. So he's up there. It'll be interesting to see what he can achieve at these games with 5 different events across the road and the track. So Ivo Kablasa, a C2 athlete, and he's doing extremely well. At the halfway mark, he's just over half a second in front of Joseph Berenier. If I was Joseph Berenier, I don't know if I'd want to watch or not. Sitting there in the middle of the track, waiting to see whether his score is or his time's going to be bettered. So 1 lap to go. Let's get a better update. Okay, so he's dropped off the pace a little. He's now just running behind, but don't forget we've got a factor to take into account here. So it's about a second off the pace with half a lap to go. And here he is, 1:18.841, the unfactored time. (1:12.730). So excellent ride, and really sort of in some ways been the only main challenger to Joseph Berenier that's looked like he might be able to push him off that top position, but not to be. So Ivo Kablasa is in 2nd position. As the jostling continues on the leaderboard, however, there's still one man clear at the top, Joseph Berenier, who rode earlier today 1:11.649, so 1 minute 11 seconds .649. That compares to Kablasa's 1:12.730. So we can now introduce you to our next rider from Russia, Alexei Obidenov. Obidenov. I'll give you a better pronunciation of that. So he only took up cycling in September 2010 and then finished 2nd in the 15-kilometre time trial at the Russian Championships. And so he was a swimmer, but then he got so excited about that result that he decided he wanted to take up cycling full-time. And here he is representing his nation at the London 2012 Paralympic Games in not 1 but 4 events, so the 2 road events, and he's riding the kilo as well as the men's individual C3 pursuit. Crowd silent. And he's away. So I'm looking at that bike with a bit of envy. A very nice Cervelo that he's got there. And his country colours, red and white. Blue booties, just to round about. So here we go. Less than a second off the pace at this stage. Can he challenge Joseph Berenier? That is the question. Now, there's no factoring time here. Obidenov is a C3 athlete, so what you see is what you get on the screen, and he's, wow, what a blistering lap. He's almost a second in front of Berenier at this point, but can he hold that top speed? It's going to be very difficult and very painful to do so, but he's making up time. He's now over a second in front. So 1 lap to go. What is he capable of in this final lap? Can the crowd push him to go one better than Berenier, who round the final elbow of this beautiful track here at London 2012, powering down the home straight, and he's done it. 1:10.995. That's 1:10.995. So he's managed to knock Joseph Berenier from the top of the position. Berenier now in second position, and this man on your screen, Obidinov, has taken the lead of this time trial competition. But let's not forget that there are some excellent riders, including 2 world record holders in their respective categories, to come this afternoon. So anything could happen in this next half hour or so as we round out this competition. So Obidinov was the 17th rider, 17th of 28, so we still have 10 riders to go in this competition. I beg your pardon, 11 riders still to go in this competition. Hanging the tongue out there. It's funny how all the different athletes have a different way of expressing their pain or their exertion, but that was a great ride. He'll be happy with that, but we're just going to have to wait and see so whether that's enough to keep him in the medal count, given that we have some quality riders still to come. You're watching Paralympic Sport TV with me, Amy Bainbridge. This is coverage of day 1 of the afternoon session of track cycling. David Nicholas from Australia. The Aussies have been very, very popular here. Made his debut in 2010, so this is his first Paralympic Games. His goal here is to win a medal at London 2012, and he's racing in 5 events across the track and field program, so they're very, very busy indeed. He's only 21 years of age, or rather 20 years of age, turns 21 in December. So another young cyclist, as we mentioned before, there's been a number of cyclists over the age of 40 competing today, both in the men and the women, but in particular the men's field. There's been some quite senior members who've had success in other events at a Paralympic level and have made the switch to cycling. 1.5 seconds off the pace. I guess there's something to be said for that, because as you grow older, cycling is such a fantastic sport because it's lower impact, and you can really judge your progress over time with your power, your muscle endurance. It's a fantastic social sport as well, particularly those long training rides, training sessions, and when you hook up with a good club, you make friends for life. So that's the broader appeal to perhaps the other cyclists who've done individual sports earlier in their career and want to take up something new. So here we have David Nicholas. And we won't have a factored time for David Nicholas. He's a C3 athlete. So 1:13.087. So that puts him in 5th position. So out of the medal count for this particular event, but as I mentioned, a total of 5 events here at London that he's competing in. So he'll be hopeful that he might excel, and I do know that he enjoys the road time trial, so that might be something that he is very keen on. And last year in the C3 road race, he won a silver medal in Roskilde in Denmark. Did extremely well in the C3 time trial, winning the gold medal at the World Championships. So he may be a little disappointed with that result, because he was second at the track World Championships in LA earlier this year. However, as we've seen, it's an extremely strong field, and with the 3 groupings together, C1, 2 and 3 athletes, it's a big challenge to get on that podium. Braden McDougall from Canada is our next athlete we can introduce you to this afternoon. So he's just 24 years of age, so another young rider, so plenty of future champions we're seeing here this afternoon. Bit of a disco helmet he's got there. Of course, all the gear chosen to be as aerodynamic as possible. So you'll see that the helmets they wear here and on the time trial race on the road as well, they'll have that big point at the back, and that's to help with the the aerodynamic nature of their outfits, and he's chosen the double carbon disc wheels. And a wide grip on the handlebars as well. So rather than sort of choosing the classic time trial bars that you'd normally see in the middle of the handlebars, he's gone for a wider grip. Often personal preference, whatever's most comfortable, depends on the athlete's body and what they find the most comfortable. So now Braden McDougall is a C1 athlete. So don't forget, we're going to have a factored time coming in here. He opens his mouth, sucking in the air, but also gritting his teeth in the pain of this event, because it is very, very painful indeed. You've got to reach that hot top speed. Oh, look at him go, and you've got to stay there for as long as you possibly can. Let's see how his last lap's gone, because he's about 2 seconds off the pace, but don't worry, there's still a factored time to come into play here. I just don't know that it's going to be a new Paralympic record. That is for the C1 category. Now, I do believe that that's a record because, in fact, this particular category, the regrouping in this event, hasn't been run at a Paralympic level before. So third overall, Braden McDougall. So of the 28 riders this afternoon, 8 of them are in the C1 category. But we've got a whole bunch of quality riders still to come this afternoon. So 28 riders in total, and we're now up to rider number 20, who is from the Republic of South Africa, Jaco Nell, who you'll see on your screens in just a moment. He'll be getting organised to get on his bike. It's from Cape Town in South Africa. So just right, that's in your screen, the man who is currently Okay, so here we have Jaco Nell from South Africa, a C2 rider. He'll be hoping for a medal here in the C1, so he's changed divisions, but the C1 1,000 metre time trial in 2011 in Italy, he won a silver medal. Qualified for the Beijing Paralympics, but didn't race because he broke his hip in training and had to miss the games. So disappointing. But he's been pretty forthright in what he wants from these games, and that is to win gold at the London Paralympics. He trains 6 days a week on the road and 3 days a week in the gym, and of course that means he's competing in both the road race and the road time trial here in London, as well as the men's individual pursuit, which is 4 kilometres, and this is his C1, 2 and 3 1 kilometre time trial this afternoon. So he wants a medal, but perhaps not in this event. But you can see that it's a very powerful man. So about half a second off the pace at this stage, but he's a C2 athlete, so we'll wait and see what the factored time is going to be. We should have a pretty good idea, though, by 3 laps in, how he's travelling and whether he might be in medal contention. So about a second and a half, just under a second and a half behind the leading time. Powering around the last turn. And this is where you'd almost feel sick to the stomach with the pain. So that is a very, very good result. So factored time, 1:12.405. That is an excellent ride. So I'll be able to update you on the leaderboard shortly, but Obviously, as you can see at the moment, there's been a lot of jostling around that sort of 3-4 mark. A lot of position changing, so Alexei Obidanov from Russia, the C3 rider, he's still in the lead of this competition. He'll just be sitting back to wait and see, but still Joseph Berenyi, he's still in second position, so you remember that he was leading this competition for most of it until the Russian rider came along. Now we're going to get a very big cheer because we've got a home athlete about to mount his bike. Darren Kenny. Darren Kenny is the reigning Paralympic champion in the C3 category, and he also holds the world record of 108.668 in this event, which doubles as a Paralympic record as well. He set that back in Beijing in 2008, and here he is. And so many athletes have spoken about this energy that you can draw on from the crowd. There's 6,000 people at the velodrome and no spare seats at all. You can't buy any track cycling tickets from now on. It's all been sold out, which is a fantastic result for these Paralympic Games and a fantastic result for these athletes, because I remember back in Beijing, the success of those games was extraordinary. Many Paralympians had never competed in front of such big crowds before, and the Paralympic Games just entered a new era, I believe, during the Beijing Paralympics, and now we're capitalising on that success again. Absolute silence, and then Darren Kenny is away and the crowd has gone wild. So Darren Kenny, a C3 athlete, he's not going to have a factored time here, but what he wants is to defend his performance in Beijing and get another gold medal, and the crowd desperately wants him as well. He's off to a brilliant start, almost 2 seconds in front of the next fastest time. That's the Russian rider, but let's see how he goes and whether the crowd can pull him along. 1 lap in, 1.627 ahead of the pace. And this is extraordinary. He'll be drawing on this energy from the crowd at the velodrome. Okay, let's get a good look. 1.297, okay, so he's still keeping that lead, but let's see how he goes over the next 500 metres. He's had a fantastic start, but can he maintain that? It's dropping off ever so slightly as we go through each checkpoint. Oh, this is going to be a tight finish. Can he do it? He just needs to power home over this last lap. It's just very, very, yep, it's paring it back, he's paring it back. Rounding down the last straight, and he's done it! 1:10.203 in front of the home crowd. Fantastic. Less than a second in front. So he is the new leader of this race this afternoon, the kilo event. Darren Kenny from Great Britain in front of his home crowd, 1:10.203. C3 rider is now lobbed in front, so that's going to push Obidanov down to second position, and Joseph Berenyi, who was leading, is now in third position. What a fantastic ride. He got an amazing start. So his first lap was extraordinarily fast, and then he was almost 2 seconds up on the leader at that point, and then gradually it did drop back, but he was still around, I think it's around 0.08 of a second. I'll need to double check that, but around 0.08 of a second faster than the Russian, who was in first position. He's now been relegated to second. There he is. He's probably wondering what to focus on at the moment. It'd be so hard to watch. Hoping you're staying in medal contention, but literally nothing you can do about it. Just have to wait and see how everyone else is going to perform and know that you've done your best and be happy and satisfied with your performance. Li Jianyu, the Chinese rider, is up next. He's a C1 rider, so there's a factor element coming into play here compared to the time that you're going to see on your screen. So cleats as well as straps to make sure many a top-level athlete has come undone at the highest level because of really simple technical failures. So you'll see the straps over the shoes are ensuring that with the great amount of force that they pull out of those starting blocks with, that your foot doesn't snap out of the cleat at the bottom of the shoe. It's been such excitement that I haven't had a lot of time to tell you about these other athletes, but Zhang came third in this event in Los Angeles earlier this year. That's the time trial event, and he's off. And he cycles with the Zhejiang cycling team in China, so not a Guangdong cyclist, as we've seen so many cyclists based in Guangdong today. He made his international debut at the 2010 Asian Games. He only started cycling in 2007, so a rapid rise for the youngster. He's 23, just turned 24 years of age. He is on fire. Oh my goodness, I've just looked up at the screen after I was checking my notes, and he is a whopping 2.5 seconds ahead of 3 seconds, almost 3.5 seconds ahead of the pace. This is an amazing ride. Wow, wow, this is extraordinary. Darren Kenny may well not get to defend his Paralympic title, because now, oh my goodness, more than 4 seconds ahead. Zhang is having a sensational ride, the ride of his life, and don't forget he's a C1 category athlete, so he's going to have a factored time come into play as well. This is extraordinary. And he's absolutely smashed the world record. He has smashed it. He's absolutely killed it. It's 1:18 was the existing world record. He's ridden a 1:05 factored time. 1:05.021, a world record, and that puts him in first position. Wow. We've really got to wonder, I guess, coming on from the success of the Beijing Paralympics and what sort of impetus that did to so many different sports. Oh, a bit of a swerve on the track there, nearly hit one of the officials. See it right off in the middle. But when you have such a successful Paralympic Games in your host country, and the exposure and the improved, I guess, awareness and training methods that come out of that, the improved focus, knowing what athletes can achieve, then to come along to the very next Paralympic Games, being motivated by what you've seen on your home soil, well, here we have it, the results of that, a Chinese rider. This is unbelievable. This is an amazing result. Wow. So Zhang, wow, that's just amazing, and he's absolutely spent. He's given it everything, and I can tell you that he's still got another 3 events on his cycling calendar. Looked like that was Darren Kenny. I couldn't see his face, but looked as though Darren Kenny was giving a little interview there, so they obviously, the media caught up with him straight after that. But gee, what a huge margin. Even without the factored time, he had beaten Darren Kenny, but with the factored time, the margin was even greater. That's just so impressive. Tobias Graf now, C2 rider from Germany. Very, very experienced campaigner. He has won multiple medals in track cycling in Athens and Beijing, and also has done extremely well at World Championships over the years. He also wants to compete in the 2015 and 2016 Paralympic Games, 2015 World Cup and the 2016 Paralympic Games in Rio. And he's just 28 years of age, so it's easy to see that this man, Tobias Graf, has got a long future ahead of him. He's also competing in a total of 5 events here at these London 2012 Games. Striking the pedals, impressive motion. So 1 lap to go. Let's get a check-in with how he's doing. He's 6 seconds behind. There will be a factor coming into play here. He is a C2 category athlete from Germany. the 28-year-old, who says he will most definitely be back for Rio. So here he is. How's he done? Just trying to work out whether I read that read that correctly. For a C2 category athlete, it appears he's broken a world record for that category. This is unbelievable. There's some amazing performances here this afternoon. That has catapulted him into second position. Just going to wait for this confirmed factored time, but he's most definitely broken the existing world record for the C2 category. So what have we got? 109.979. So he has absolutely smashed the existing world record by 7 seconds. 7 seconds. So that means Darren Kenny is now in third position overall. Wow, what a ride. So still, we have 5 cyclists left to come, but geez, how fast can they go? That is the question. Okay, here we have it. C1-3, Li Zhang, who was amazing, amazing ride, but Tobias GRAF at one point was 6 seconds off the pace, and you would have thought, goodness, that's a fair way off the pace. However, one can't forget that Li Zhang time is so extraordinary. But really, that was good enough to put GRAF into second place. And so Darren Kenny's got to hope now that he can hold on to that bronze medal spot. Xie Hao from China. So what are the Chinese riders capable of this afternoon? He's just seen his teammate smash the world record, take first place in the position. Now it's Xie Hao's turn. See Li Zhang so happy with his performance. And look, it's fantastic to be leading the competition, but it's also fantastic to be thrilled within yourself about your personal performance and know that you've done all that you could. So regardless of whether you end up in the medals or not. So see him clipping into the cleats there, straps across the top, and then they'll put the booties over the top, which just helps with the aerodynamic nature of it. I mean, a lot of people wear booties in their road cycling anyway to keep their feet warm. Not so in this case. You don't really need to be kept warm. It's more to make it a little more streamlined. That lycra fitting over the top, and it looks pretty cool as well. So a bit of time of preparation, and Xie Hao hasn't got the aero bars on. Again, personal preference, but you just try and get into that most aerodynamic position as possible. Xie Hao had a pretty good run at the World Championships earlier this year in Los Angeles. He came away with 2 gold medals, and he's one of these famed Guangdong cycling team cyclists. So he obviously trains with a few of the women that we saw racing earlier today in the individual pursuit. He's just a youngster, 23 years of age. So Xie Hao, he's a C2 category athlete, so there will be a factored time here. Let's see what he's capable of. See whether he can go even better than his teammate, who's, well, he is at the moment. Goodness me. That is a very, very fast start indeed. So coming up to the first lap, let's see how he's tracking. Okay. So it was a very good start, but he's now half a second off the pace. Can he accelerate? So got away to a great start. The key, of course, is to maintain that speed. So about 2 seconds off the pace. However, we do have the factoring element coming into play here. And after seeing that incredible performance of his teammate earlier today, Li Zhang, can Xie Hao do it? One lap to go. So he's using his drops. He's preferring to do that rather than using the time trialing bars. Personal preference, and would also suit his body as well, whatever he feels the most comfortable and the most balanced in. So 1:16.130. Let's wait for the factored time. 1:10.229. So he's in 4th place, and that's not enough for a medal at this stage, but still an excellent result and a really good ride. Gee, the quality of this field, it's really, particularly in the back half of this competition, has been quite extraordinary. So I can now introduce you, we've got 4 athletes to go, but the next athlete will be a very, very popular one, I can guarantee that. Obviously hasn't walked out yet because we haven't heard the crowd roar, but Richard Wadden from GB, Team GB, is our next cyclist. He was a silver medalist in the CP3 time trial in Beijing in 2008. He's also done extremely well at this race, the World Championship level. So this is going to be very, very interesting indeed. We know we've set some blistering times, but we've got the home crowd on the side of this athlete. And if he does well enough, he's going to push his countryman Darren Kenny out of the medal standings. It's going to take a few moments to get set on the bike. He's away, and the crowd is absolutely behind him, and let's see how much he can use this to his advantage. Richard Wadden, a C3 athlete, the home athlete in front of his home crowd, inspired to take up this sport after watching the Tour de France. I think a lot of us could attest to that, watching the Tour and wanting to get on the bike and having a fantastic time of it. Okay. So there's not going to be a factor brought into this, and it looks at this stage as though he's not going to affect Darren Kenny's medal prospects at least. He's about 4 seconds off the pace, but gosh, what a pace it's been set this afternoon. Gosh, it just goes so quickly. So 750-metre mark is about 5.5 seconds off the pace, so not going to be a threat in the medal standings, but nevertheless a great performance because of the 28 riders. He's certainly going to be right up there in the standings. So 6th position, a top 10 finish it will be for him this afternoon, and what an experience, what a great way to compete in front of your home crowd. So we've got another 3 cyclists to compete in this event. It's the kilo, the men's individual 1, 2 and 3 1 kilometre time trial this afternoon. But look, there is so much action happening here at this beautiful velodrome this afternoon, because we've not only got this, we have got another 4 medals up for grabs, 4 gold medals up for grabs this afternoon. So we had the qualifying rounds, in case you missed it this morning, the qualifying rounds of the individual pursuit for the women, for all categories of the C1 to 5 women. C1, 2 and 3 were grouped together. And then we had C4 and C5 racing separately, and then of course the men's B division. So that all happened this morning. We had the overall standings decided, and then there's going to be a write-off for the gold medal and a write-off for the bronze. And the way that'll work is that the bronze will go first, and then the gold medal will be decided straight after that in all those events. So very exciting indeed. So this is another Chinese rider, Liang Guihua. You can hear him say, yeah, how? My shoe's good. As they're clipping in the pedals, so using the cleats and the straps, as we mentioned earlier. So Liang Guihua, he's had a pretty good couple of years. He's only young as well. is 18 years of age, so, sorry, rather 28 years of age. Terrible maths there, but let's see what he's capable of. So Liang Guihua is a C2 classified athlete, age of 28 years, and halfway around the course he's about 6 seconds off the pace at this point, so not really looking like a medal threat, but still, gee, these Chinese cyclists have been really impressive this afternoon, and as I was saying earlier, probably something to do with that momentum and buoyancy carrying over from the Beijing Paralympics, where it was just such a successful games and the Chinese athletes did so well. And the momentum that then carries through to London 2012. Well, a few years ago, I suggest that there wouldn't have been this many cyclists in a track racing final a few games ago, but the momentum and the image and the impetus that comes from hosting at home games, and then the talent pool that happens, that sort of is created or expanded rather as a result of hosting home games is just fantastic. So we're getting some reports from down at the mixed zone at the velodrome. The mixed zone is where the cyclists finish off their bikes and go through and chat to a whole range of reporters, and apparently from the mixed zone it is absolutely deafening when the Great Britain riders are competing. So Liang Guihua, absolutely spent there. So in the mixed zone, the reporters can prepare to be deafened yet again, because we have another GB rider, Markley Colbourne. Don't forget though, okay, so Markley Colbourne is the second last rider for today, for this particular race. However, Rodrigo Fernando Lopez from Argentina comes after him. He was the C1 world record holder before that was broken, well smashed I should say, today. So he'll be out there and he won't be happy. Clipped in and ready to go. Silence before the roar. And is away, and the crowd is going to push Markley Colbourne as much as they can. So Markley Colbourne is a C1 category cyclist. Had some success at the World Championship level earlier this year. He came second in this event, just 3 seconds off the pace at this point, but there is a factored time that we're going to need to calculate at the end of this. Okay, so So we're at the halfway mark. He's about 4 seconds off the pace. Is it going to be enough to get him into the medal standings? That is the question. He's going to really have to draw on this energy for the crowd, push through the pain, that lactic acid build-up. Such a difficult event. Still 1 lap to go. Can he get the crowd to push him to new heights? That is the question. He seemed to make up a bit of time on that last lap. He's going to need to pull something out of this final straight. Wow. So factored time. I'm just trying to work out whether I read that right just then. That's extraordinary. I believe Mark Lee Colbourne has come in. He's now in 2nd position. So the factored time there has brought him in to 2nd position. That is extraordinary. Standing ovation from the crowd, fantastic, and no doubt it is absolutely deafening down there in the mix zone where those poor reporters might have caught down the bottom at the moment, but they'll be trying to get their hands on this man as soon as possible. So the bad news about that, of course, is that Darren Kenny has been pushed out of the medal standings and further down the rankings, but Zhang is still the leader, so no great surprises there. Mark Lee Colbourne coming in 2nd, and then it's a pretty tight jostle. So we've got Tobias GRAF. It looks as though Tobias GRAF is in 3rd. Here we go. We've got the official standings. Darren Kenny, now been pushed into 4th position. Liang Guihua is in 5th. So Zhang still, gee, that was an amazing performance this afternoon. I really still can't quite get over it. He just absolutely burst out of the blocks. Now this man, what is he capable of? This is the question. I don't know about you, but if I was sitting around all afternoon and watched my world record be broken, I would not be very happy. Whether he can harness that a bit of anger, a bit of energy, and manage to wrestle that back, that is the question for this man this afternoon. These athletes pretty much this afternoon will be competing in the road events next week as well. So Rodrigo Fernando Lopez from Argentina, he's a C1 category athlete. Can he get himself into the top of the standings? Can he beat Zhang, who had that sensational ride? So just to recap, that ride, the factored time from Zhang was unbelievable ride in any case, but with the factored time, 1:05.021. Some 3 seconds ahead of the next best placed rider, Colbourne, who rode just then, who's now in 2nd position. But what is Lopez capable of? A few final checks there on the bike, making sure everything's in the starting blocks. Not sure what they're thinking about the seat post there, but mustn't be quite attached very well. It's adding to the drama of this final rider of the day, and there is some expectation that he will be able to do very well, but there's just a little bit of a problem with the catch there around the seat post. Make sure it's lined up correctly. The last thing you want is for it not to let go, or to let go slightly off balance. So Lopez won a bronze at the 2004 Paralympics in Athens, and he's away. What can he do here? He set the world record, well, the world record that was broken today. He set that world record in November 2011 in Mexico. All right, this will give us the first sort of view of how he's going. So about 2 seconds off the pace, just under 2 seconds off the pace at this stage, but he's a C1 rider. There's a factored time in play. If you can just keep in touch by that amount, you'd have to think he'll be able to get easily into the medal standings. Let's see what he can do. So just over 4 seconds off the pace. Lopez coming into his final lap. So he's actually dropped off a little further, but what can he do in this last lap? He's absolutely in agony, but I bet he's not thinking about that. I bet he's listening to the crowd and trying to surge along with them. So 1:13.08 rather is the time to beat. So his current time, 7th position. Let's wait for the factored time. It looks as though it's going to be rounded down to probably around the 110, yep, 110.689 mark. So 7th position. So no, it won't get him into the medal standings, but we can now tell you that the winner this afternoon will be the Chinese rider Li Jiangyu. What an impressive, dominant display he had this afternoon. Lopez will still feature in the road racing next week and is also going to be in the C1 pursuit as well. So Mark Lee Colbourne from Great Britain, that was who that cheer was for. He's taken the silver medal. I think that bronze is going to go to Tobias Graf from Germany. We'll just get that official confirmation, but it looks as though it is China. Indeed. So, bit of a cool down happening there, trying to get recovery because there will have been a fair lactic acid build-up throughout that race. So, it's important to not sit around. You need to work that lactic acid through your muscles and try and help some recovery. Because many of these athletes, there you have it, the official confirmation, many of these athletes have got a very, very, very busy schedule ahead of them for these games. So this is just the first of a number of events. Most athletes appear to be racing in 4 or 5 events, so generally 2 track and 2 road races as well. So on the road race we have, of course, the road racing we have the individual road race, and then we have a road time